Hello everyone, my name is Rosa Maria Belisario. I'm from the EFWA team from Spring 2020, and this is going to be our installation video. Before going over all the technologies and things that we have to use in order to get the project running locally, I want to do a quick overview about what EFWA is and how it's composed. And I'm doing this because at the beginning it was really hard for us to understand the architecture of the project. So if you are not familiarized with how EFWA works, I would highly recommend to stop this video, go over the documentation, and then come back so you can have a better understanding about this. Basically, we have here the EFWA project running in the server. If you don't have access to this website and you don't have the credentials, I would recommend for you to ask the professor to give you this, because you're going to need it so you can start getting familiarized with the website itself. So we're going to do the login here. And something that is important for you to know is that these installation videos are going to be composed of two different parts. The first part of the installation is going to be about the web app, that is all the things that you are seeing here right now. And the second part is going to be about the Vps management. If you don't know what Metatrader is, what's a terminal, how the terminal works, how the EFWA project works, the architecture and what it's about, and also what a VPS is, I will also recommend you to stop the video, look all this terminology, and then come back, because at the beginning it can be a little bit overwhelming if you don't know all the information. So this interface that you are seeing here are the VPS, is where we're able to control all the terminals. This is a different project than the website is. And this was one of the first things that was hard for us when we're starting to work in the project. Basically, we're gonna be using Visual Studio. Don't worry again about all the things that you have to download. We're gonna talk about it later. But here, a quick overview is we have the Visual Studio right here. We are on the repository, and the repository is called EFWA Web App and Web API, and we are in the branch develop. And basically, when you get this running, this part of the project, what you have access to is the EFWA website. So you're able to have all the website running locally. Once you have that, the second part of this project, and it's super important for you to get this straight, is that we have the Vps management, and it's not on the same set of code. Actually, you have to go to another branch, to another repository that is called EFWA Vps Web API, also on the branch develop, and this is the repository that is going to be taking care of all the Vps management. So the way that we're going to structure these videos are going to be, first, we're going to get the EFWA web app running locally to 100% with the database also locally. And then we're going to move forward and we're going to install the VPS. And hopefully this is going to be much easier for you guys. So yeah, we're going to go now to the next video to go over all the things that we need to get EFWA running. Then we're going to do the installation, then we're going to talk about the things that we need for the VPS, and then we are going to install the VPS. Hello everyone, my name is Rosa Maria Belisario. I'm from the EFWA team from Spring 2020, and this is the continuation of the installation videos. On the first video, we talk a little bit about how EFWA is composed and how the architecture works, something that I think is really useful. So if you skip that video, I recommend you to go back and watch it. All right, over there, I'm just talking about the overview and letting you know how the structure of these videos are gonna go. So we are gonna need Visual Studio. We are using right now Visual Studio 2017, and it's just because when we tried to use 2019, there were some specific errors and libraries that were asking us the Visual Studio to install, and it was getting a little bit complicated. So we stayed with Visual Studio Enterprise 2017, and it has been working completely fine. Also, we're going to be doing a guide when we will share past videos of the EFWA team on how to install, and they are also using the 2017 version. So it is much easier for us just to stick with their version in order to have harmony in all the videos. So right now we have Visual Studio already downloaded. This is the installing Visual Studio feature. If you go and you look up here for Visual Studio, you're always going to have Visual Studio installer when you already download the video. The links to download this is just going to Microsoft, looking for Visual Studio installer, then you can use your FIU email, and then you will get the license, and it's something really straightforward. And again, we're going to be linking all the past videos so you can see a little bit more. But right now, we're going to be focusing on once we already have this installed. Super easy. Whenever you have an install, you will get the Visual Studio installer feature. And the things that we are going to be using is the ASP.NET web development, the data storage and processing. Also, we're going to use .NET Core. Super important to see that it's .NET Core and it's not just .NET, something that happened to us at the beginning. So yes, just do it, please. Visual Studio extends development as well. And when we come here to the next, the .NET Core cross-platform, we're gonna select .NET Core 2.0 and .NET Core also 1.0, just because some features use those kind of libraries. We're gonna double check that we have everything here. At this point, you can just stop the video, double check if all your options are checked. As long as I'm going back, we are going to be installing all of this. SQL, we already have SQL, and again, just pause the video, double check that you have all these options checked. We're good here, and now we're gonna go to individual components. We're gonna select this two. Again, pause the video and double check if you have all these features selected. Also, if you forget to check one, it's completely okay. You can just install this, and then if you see that you forgot about something, you can again just type here Visual Studio installer, and then you can add the features that you forgot. It's better if you do it all at once, but there is no harm if you don't do it at first. You can always come back. We're gonna be installing GitHub extension for Visual Studio and Git for Windows 2. .NET, good. Just double checking that we have all the packages. Great. It looks like we have everything here. So let's just install. And this will take a while, so we will resume this video whenever this is loaded to 100%, and then we will just connect to our GitHub branch. Okay, so now we're gonna continue with our installation process. This is a guide that the team from the fall 2019 led for us, and it's an amazing guide that will actually give you in detail all the things that you need in order to get everything done. We're gonna be sure to leave something pretty much like this, but better with all the new things that we have been working in this semester. But basically, at this point, we already download all the things that we need in order to get up and running, such as Postman, SQL Management Studio, SQL Server Express Edition, Redis, and also .NET Core 2.2 that is coming, as I said before, with the installation of Visual Studio if you did it correctly. At that point, when you already have everything installed, what you need to do is actually install the SQL Server. Doing the installation of the SQL Server is something that is super easy and really straightforward, and we are not gonna actually be going over it in this video. What we're gonna do is link the video that we use to install. That is gonna be the developer environment EFWA installation guide video. The 3 out of the 4 videos is the 3 and the 4th video. The 3rd and the 4th video is the one where they are talking about the installation of the SQL Server and how to get it running. Right here, quick example, he's going over all the installation of the server, how to do it, how to deployment, and how to be able to get the data management and the migration from the database. It's super useful. That's how we did it, and it's gonna be really easy for you also, guys, if you just watch this video straightforward, and after you are done with it, then you just go with Visual Studio. Once you already have the GitHub the GitHub connection made, as we talked in the video on the previous video, is if you did the installation correctly and you selected the GitHub extension, you're gonna be able to have the project right here. Once you have the SQL Server, meaning at this point you stop this video, you came to this 2 links, watch the 3rd video and then you watch the 4th video, you're gonna be able to open Microsoft. You're gonna be able to open Microsoft SQL Server and actually connect to your local server. If you watch and follow all the steps in those videos, then you just connect here and you have your local server running with the database already migrated. At this point, the only thing that we need to do is come back to our effort project, click on Clean Solution, and then click on Build Solution. Once you have all done, you shouldn't have any kind of errors, maybe warnings, which are okay. They're kind of like about practice, but we can figure it out later how to make this better. But as long as you don't have errors, then you are ready to start. Let's wait a little bit to see. Super important for you guys to know that every single step has to be done in order to this to run. You have to have Redis installed and running. You have to have the GitHub repository connect to this. You have to have the data migrated, as we talked, that you have to watch the previous videos mentioned it, and we're going to be leaving the links below. And usually when you run it, you're going to have 2 new windows. One window is going to be the API window. This doesn't have a landing page, but it's always running. And if you, in the API, when you have here the localhost API values, if you get this, it's completely okay, since this doesn't have a landing page yet. But the initial page, the other page that you're going to have, the other window you're going to have in your default explorer is going to be the actual website. Here you can log in and you are going to have the credentials. We already have the credentials here. If you don't have it, I suggest to ask the professor for it. If you're not able to log in, and this is a really good hint to know if the database is actually running and if the migration went okay. If you're not able to log in with the credentials that the professor gave you, and it tells you something like, it gives you an error saying that it wasn't able to find any user with this username or password, then it means that the local database hasn't been completely migrated and you have to do this process again. It's okay. it happens to us a couple of times. You have to go back, watch the videos, and do this time correctly. If everything went okay, then you are able to do the login. And once we're here, you can start playing around with your local setup. Once you have this running, it's time to go to the VPS and actually verify if everything is running. The good thing about going to the VPS repository, that it was what we talked at the beginning, that we have to have 2 different projects running in order to have the full feature actually fully working, is that since you already have the EFWA web app running, you have Redis, you have the SQL database, you have Visual Studio with all the features that you need. When you already have this running, connecting to the VPS, it's easy. And it's easy because the only thing that you need to do is just open a new Visual Studio, and instead of going to the GitHub and selecting the project of the EFWA web app, you're going to select the EFWA VPS solution. Super easy to do. Again, the same thing you have to do is just come to connections, create a new connection on GitHub, select the VPS, and then you will have the new branches. If you're not used to how GitHub and Visual Studio works, I'll suggest you to just go for a couple of tutorial videos that will help you how to do it. It's super easy. As I showed before, you just have to have the connection, and once you have the connection, you're able to select which projects you want inside of your account in GitHub. You select the repository, and then you're good to go. You know that you're in the solution because you go to Solution Explorers, and there you go with the EFWA VPS project standing. Things that we have to be aware of is in which branch you are. We have a strategy of how to make commits on the GitHub. So be aware in which branch you are. Something that took us a long time to figure it out. We were doing commits from, we were doing testing from the master branch, and the branch that we actually have to use is develop. And if you do the migration in masters and then you change to develop, the website will crash because the database migration is not the same. So be aware that you always have to be in the develop branch. Once we have this, the only thing that we have left is to run our VPS. And right now it's working. How you know that this is working? It's gonna have a landing page. You remember when we were running EFWA that we had the API windows that won't load? Well, that's okay when you're running EFWA, but when you're running the VPS, you actually have a landing page that will allow you to double check if your feature is actually working or not. Trick that you can use to verify if this is actually working, you go to your VPS project and you go to home controllers, and home controllers in the folder controllers. Oh no, in the folder controllers, no, you controllers and home controller right here, yes. And then you verify that you have here, instead of return okay, you have return view. If you have return okay, it's what will happen is that the VPS will start still run. Yolanda, 15 minutos aquí perdidos. ¿Por qué? Pégale ya. Oh, okay. So once you have this and the way in how you double check that this is actually working, and the good thing and how you can double check, you have your landing page of VPS. This is actually really helpful because it allows you to have a proof that the VPS is running and is actually working. Something that you have to be aware before you're running, if this page doesn't load, go to the code and VPS and double checking home controller. You come here on the VPS project, you come to the controllers folder, and then you select home controllers and you verify that in this part of the code you have return view instead of return OK. What happens when you have return OK is that the backend just returns a OK, it's running, that's it, but it doesn't return anything visual. Since we have a view because the team of the last semester, they were able to build a landing page for the VPS, the only thing that you have to do is comment this part of the code and actually put here return view if this isn't already in this way. Run the project again and you should be able to see the landing page. Once you have that, you come to the FIU project, to the VPS Management section. It will take a little bit to load. It's loading, and then you will have here the VPSs. Now, before we try to use the VPS, you need to download Metatrader 5. Once you have Metatrader 5 downloaded in your computer, what you need to do is download it here locally. Here you just download it. It's a pretty straightforward process, and once you have that ready, you know that it's properly installed if you come to your C, you go to users, and in users you look for the app data. And once you have a Metatrader here downloaded, you just have to come here, Metatrader, and double check. Clicking. That's the typical sum of Metatrader. Now that we have Metatrader, we just need to access to our path in order to have the VPS running. Okay, so once you have Metatrader, you are able to now use the VPS. Here you can see that I have 2 offline and 1 online. And this one that is online is actually because I already put the path. Whenever you're going to use the path, it's just giving the FIU project the actual location of where the terminal is going to be. The way in how you do it, real quick, you come to this PC, then you select C, you go to users, you go to your user. In my case is this my user, and once you are here, we have a hidden folder called app data. You just have to type it right there, then just click enter. You go to roaming, and once you're here in roaming, you look up for the meta codes folder, and when you're here, you just hit terminal, and this is the path that you're gonna need. You're gonna copy and paste it, and this is the path that you're gonna need to add your VPS. You come here at server, you put your name, the server address, and this server address, you're gonna be using your local host and the port in whichever port you're using to run the project. Then data folder, the one that we just copy and pasted, and then in remote desktop section, just put 1 by default since it's actually locally. For this part of the project, one of the teams of the last semester from the EFWA team, Juliana, she did an amazing job explaining this part of the project. So we're gonna also link that video below, so you can go there and have a deeper explanation about how to do this. again, if you were able to run the effort project, you just have to download Metatrader 5, and after that follow the simple stuff. But if you want a little bit more of information and maybe something a little bit more detailed, we will link the video below. And once you have this, you're ready to go. We are right now testing things on the website to understand better what is working and what is not, and which feature need to be redone or which things we should implement next. Once we are here in the Vps Management, we sometimes are going to take a token to being able to even load this data and also to being able to edit or add a new server. In this case, what I did was just edit an existing server because I wanted to, but you also could just add a new one. And if you want to add a new one, we can always put here test. Server address will be this local address. We just copy and paste this here. You copy here. Then data folder, the data folder that we did before. Here, and then by default we put 1. I think here we just have to delete this. We need be okay. Oh, so here this, and then here. I should put HTTP. Oh. Okay, so in this case, I already had this BPS edited. I did not add a new one, but if you want to add a new one, you can totally do it. We can put here test number 1, and the server address, super important. The server address is not going to be the same server address that we have here. It's not going to be when we have the effort project running. It's actually going to be when we have the BPS run. Remember that I told you that you guys know that if you have the BPS running, if you were able to get to the landing page. So is this information that you need on the server address. Once you're there, you're going to be good to go on the data folder path. You just need to come here, data folder that we saw before. You have one here. You are gonna need this, and usually at this point you're gonna need something that is a token, and for that you're gonna be using your Postman app. That it was one of the things that I told you guys that you have to download. Again, the EFWA team is the one who was working on this last semester, and I'm gonna be linking the specific video that one of their members did about getting a token. But basically the only thing that you need to do is create this call, make a post call, then copy this link and then send it. Once you send it, it's gonna take a while, and it's gonna give you a token and Okay, so once you have the Vps management running, here we can see that I have this running on this two and not, and it's because I haven't changed the data folder, and that's why they are kind of like offline. What I did here, I decided these are the 3 VPS that comes by default on the system, and I decided to edit one, but we can even like add one, so we can actually put here the server address. The server address is going to be not the local host where we have FIU running, but it's going to be actually where we have the landing page for the effort VPSs. So you remember that you needed to have this in order to know if it was running. You have to have it open, and you just come here, copy the address server, and you paste it here. Also, we need a name, so we can put this test 1. Then on data folder, I already have here the data folder. But is just to refresh your memory, it's going to be this path that we have here. Remember that here is the username, the user that you actually have in your computer. In this case, it's my name. And yours is going to be probably your name or something else. And remember that once you are inside of this folder, the data app folder is a hidden folder, so you actually have to and then you are roaming, and then roaming meta codes, then terminal, and there you go. So, and we have here by default one, and we're gonna leave it there since it's something that is on your work. Then we add the server, and it's gonna take a while, but then we have it there already. Now, if we want to actually have this on, you just have to press here, and he's gonna ask you if this is true. That if this is your terminal instance, then you just hit connect to server. You wait a little bit, and now you have here your data server running. One of the things that you have to know is if you don't have right now is reading the terminal, right? But if you don't have the Forex account here, it's not going to be validated until you have it. So for example, the Forex account, the username, the expert advisor, and the script name, you have this. Right now, no, because you don't have any kind of Forex account linked to it. What we can do is just come to the actual Forex where is it here? We can come to the actual effort project and look for the Forex accounts that we have here running that are validated, and then you just come back to your local project and you install you just add the Forex accounts, and this should be working. So yeah, basically this is the process and how to install. If you're not able to get these interfaces or all these things running, probably you just miss something on the installation process. And the only thing that you have to do is come back, watch the videos, and make sure that you are selecting every single thing. I know that the videos sometimes are kind of like long, but believe us, this is all the things that you need in order to have the project running